Welcome to the Parenting Lab podcast. I'm your parent coach, Brittany, and I am here to guide you into the calm, clarity, and connection you're looking for as you transform your parenting from the inside out. Let's get started.
I love it. This is already going so well.
Off the cuff, I love it.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here with us today on the Parenting Lab. I'm so excited because I have a very close friend and client here with me today. This is Madison. She is very kind to spend some time with me tonight.
I feel very honored to be here.
Yes, and talk about her coaching journey. So I'm going to ask her a few questions to kind of keep the conversation going. We're just hanging out. We've got our Diet Cokes. We're ready to chat.
Yeah.
All right. So Maddie, tell me a little bit about yourself and our working together. What is that looking like for you?
Yeah. So, our relationship is a little special, I feel like, compared to your other clients, just because you were my friend first. I got to know Brittany and her family, and I think I met you at a Valentine's Day party that me and my sister were throwing for the first time. And you just were this light that walked in, and I was like, oh, I'm so drawn to her. She just was so fun and looked so stylish and cool. And so we just got to talking and we became friends. And me and my sister really clicked. And, as friends do, they go through different struggles and problems with things and ask for their friends' advice. And I would just come to you with stuff and you would help me. And the things that you would help me with would really just resonate. And I was like, man, you give really good advice. And then flash forward a few months later down the road, and I realized you're a life coach and you have this whole program and process of how to actually have lasting changes instead of just little, situational issues.
Mhm.
And then we started to, because I'm her friend, she started coaching me and walking me through her program. And it's just been just life changing for me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our origin story.
That is the origin story. I love it. I love it. So you are not a parent yet.
I'm not.
So typically, like with this podcast and things like that, we're gearing things towards parents. But just before we kind of get into it, how do you feel like this program applies to you even without having kids yet? Like how does that fit
Oh
in?
man, it applies. I'll just say to every relationship in my life, it applies in every relationship with myself, with my family, but specifically with my parents, which is crazy. It's a parenting, program that you have, but it's really a life program that helps you in every aspect of your life. But I've seen it significant changes with the relationship with my parents.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it gives you perspective. So
Because really, even more than just parenting, I feel like this is really generational work.
absolutely.
Like it should be a generational program rather than a parenting program. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should remarket. Because I do think that even without having children, or if you have kids in any phase, it really does help you look to the past. It helps you look to the present and the future, and it changes relationships all along the way. So that's been your
Absolutely.
experience too, and I love that. I love that. Okay, so what we're going to kind of talk about today, a few weeks ago in episode 17, we talked about the healing process. And I know that we had talked about that before I even put that episode out.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the reasons why I did that, was to kind of address some of those questions that we had about that. But for those of you that are listening, the healing process, just to remind you, is this kind of cycle of healing that happens, and it starts with awareness, and then it moves into the work of healing, which leads to transformation. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today, about how that process has kind of played out in your life and what you're working on and what we're working on together. So I guess my first question is there something that you can think of, or a situation or a time of your life before we started working together, that kind of brought you to an awareness that you were ready to make some changes, that this isn't sustainable, or I want to be different in some ways? So can you kind of explore that with me?
Yeah. I feel like we have gone through many of those moments for different relationship dynamics, where I've had that moment of like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But one specific that was pretty big for me is I don't consider myself to be someone with anxiety. I think everyone gets anxious about certain situations, but I've never had an anxiety attack, like a physical, visceral thing.
Mhm.
And um, I had this trip. I'm an adult child, okay? So I have an adult relationship with my parents right now. And one particular moment I had is when I was going back home and I knew I had to go back home and I just had so much anxious and anxiety feelings just around it. And I get there and things are fine. Like nothing went wrong. People were welcoming. We had great, welcome home, whatever. But I felt like my heart was going to explode out of my chest and I just couldn't sit still. And I just had a full on anxiety attack and I just had to leave my house and go on a run. And it was super dark. I almost got hit by a car. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I just was like, man, I'm so dramatic. What's wrong with me? This isn't normal. And like, I need to figure this out. Whatever this is, I need to figure it out. And I think, every person and every kid, I want to say person because like I'm no longer a kid, but I'm my parents' kid.
Yes.
And I think as an adult, you're always like, their kid. I think every kid wants a good relationship with their parents.
Yes.
Regardless if they have it. And so that's something that I've always wanted and struggled with my whole life. But that was like a very aware moment of like,
Mhm.
this is not normal.
Yeah.
And I wanted to change.
Yeah. So I remember that time actually. And it was kind of like there has to be a different way. Like this
Mhm.
can't keep happening.
No.
Like I want to change this for good.
Yeah.
Because I think that up to that point you had like, you have good times and you have times that are hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do we have the same problems over and over again?
Mhm.
And why are the same feelings coming up and I'm triggered in the same ways over and over again? Why is that?
Yeah.
And so I think that that was a really big turning point for you in that there has to be a better way.
Yeah.
And so we kind of explored that together. So I love that. Um, so when you kind of have these moments of awareness and you've had many, because we've also talked about how you get really good and you're kind of moving along and then it's like you get really, oh, I feel like I'm doing all this transformation work in this one area and then it brings to light something else.
Mhm.
And so it kind of snowballs and we end up working together on different things at different times and then going back to the same things again sometimes, right? But when you kind of started in those at those points of your awareness, um, what are you hoping will change in those moments? Like we kind of talked about this has to be better, but in what way? What are you really hoping for in those moments?
I love that question because just with going through your program, comparing myself, I think that was like a few years ago to now, I would tell you then, I want my parents to change. I'm like, I just want them to, do X, Y, and Z differently. I want them to show me love this way. I want them to just stop being so whatever,
Mhm.
And it's like, other parents don't do that, or if they could only do this. And it was so much of, their shortcomings and everything that they need to do.
Yeah.
And that's basically like, I'll be okay if they change. That was my whole, I think, initial approach to that. It's like, and with that, then I think we talked a lot about boundaries. And you were explaining to me how, if certain behaviors or certain things happen, I need to set boundaries. And that was my way of, if I'm going to change my relationship, I need to set a boundary. And that's kind of, I think, where it started, but it evolved into something so much more, I think, beautiful and just deeper of in our journey because it's been years. Okay, she has been working on me for years. With me for years. Um, my relationship with my parents and my feelings towards my parents and our relationship, I think, I know changed not because they changed or they, became different and approach things differently, but because I changed. And it started with boundaries. Like that was step one because that's what I was most comfortable with at the time, I think, was
Right.
boundaries.
Right.
But my relationship became so good and solid because of the changes that I was able to make. But it was a process to get there. It took years. So
Yeah. Well, we're still working on it, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it took forever, unfortunately, but
I love that.
it's good though.
I love that. And I love that you kind of brought us into the next phase of the process, which is the work of healing,
Yeah,
right? And it has been work.
absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. So as you're doing this work, I just want to have you kind of touch on what that's kind of looked like for you, because this is not easy, simple, here's 3 steps to this.
Yeah.
Or there are some frameworks like that we've talked about over the years, but is there any like anything that we've kind of talked about that has just been really significant? Like any framework, tools, things like that have just been like, that changes everything.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's knowing your core values. That is like the biggest thing. If like you do nothing from this program, you need to do core values. Like I have a testimony of core values, okay? Like
Yeah.
life changing. And I remember you explaining the concept to me, and I understood it from just, a listening standpoint, but then experiencing it and realizing, finding out what my core values are for myself is just so life shattering, transformational, and all the best ways.
Yes. That was actually
Honestly.
quite an emotional experience for you, wasn't it?
Oh, 100%. I think core values gave me, for the first time in my life, perspective for myself and the ability to have grace for myself, which I've never had in that way. And like it's that true understanding of, some in that moment of anxiety going to my parents' house, knowing the why. Because then I didn't have the why. I'm like, why am I so upset? Nothing happened. Why? And core values gives you that why. And that is such a, like having words, having answers to feelings is such a powerful thing. And I think, understanding my own core values, it just gives me this desire to understand everyone else's. Like, I need to know your core values so I can just be a better person and have a better relationship with you. And yeah, it was a very emotional thing. It also gave me confidence in things that I say and do.
Okay.
Where before, you'd have conversations that are very emotional and very hard with, parents, significant others, sisters, whatever. And you're like, oh, why did I say that? Or I shouldn't have said that. We're having my core values. I could act in alignment with me and things that were true. And I sound so simple, but it's not. Okay. Until you know your core values, it's not simple. And I think you can understand what that feels like. And it's once you have those tools, my life was changed. My communication with people, my perspective for people, it was changed. And I remember my second core value I found with you. It was momentum, which you can go through a list of words, and I would never think momentum. But going through her program, we figured out that was momentum, and that like a weight, a physical weight. It's like 10 pounds of weight was lifted off my body. I felt I couldn't stop smiling. And I think the difference, like with you and your program, because I've done life coaching programs before, and they were great for, I'd say, like band-aid fixes. You go through situations and they help you. But I'd always procrastinate going because I know it's going to be very heavy. It's going to be hard. I have to bring up all this garbage from the past, and I just don't want to, and I dread it. Where our conversations, some are like that, but most of the time, and like in moments like that one, where I figured out my second core value, I had a high on life, okay? Like it's like a lightning bolt was zapped through me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do anything. I am like the confidence, the certainty, it's just like things were out of place slightly, and it's like you put the puzzle piece in perfectly in your brain when understanding, like just having understanding for yourself.
Yes.
And it was life altering for me in the best ways.
I love that.
In the best ways.
I like it. No, it has made a huge difference. It has made a huge difference for you. So since we're on the topic of core values, let's talk about your third value.
Ugh.
Okay. If you want to, we can.
No, yeah,
we can edit this out.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
So tell us about your third value. You don't have to say what it is if you don't want to, but tell us about what that is and what that means to you.
Okay. So I'll tell you my first two first because I'm proud of those ones. My first two is respect and momentum. And I guess like defining that, respect is very much the golden rule to me. It's treat others how you want to be treated. And that goes into just, being kind, basic things, and figuring things out. You go through a lot of different adjectives of kind, honest, loving. And those things I was like, man, I really think I'm kind, but I've definitely had moments where I'm not very kind. And so it's like, I don't think kind's your core value. It's respect.
It's respect, yeah.
And that's how I show respect in moments, is being kind. And so respect and momentum was huge for me. And that's just being very progressive, like forward thinking. When I have conversations, arguments with people, like let's get to the root cause and move forward. Let's be progressive and not go off tangents. Like that's
Not have the same argument over and over again and have the same conversations again and again. You want progress.
Yes. And I notice I get really irritated when things are not in momentum. Like when I feel my prickles go up, it's like I have a word now. It's like, oh, this is
because you feel stuck.
Yes. And some things aren't as, conversational. It's like phases of life and things like that. That I become so anxious or irritated. And so momentum and respect, and then security. Security. And security sounds like a fine word. I feel like saying it, most people be like, oh, they wouldn't think twice about it. But I did not like the taste of it in my mouth when I said it. I was like, I don't like this. But I also think it's true. And it's me.
Right.
And I think why I have such security can mean so many different things. And I think for me, it means like financially secure in my relationships, secure with just myself and situations. It's like a physical thing, being places, but I really think it's like very much an emotional thing. And I think I didn't like accepting that, because having it be something that's so important to me, of being secure, would then inverse show that I'm an insecure person. And I hate that. I detest that. I'm like, I'm not an insecure person. I don't want to admit that that's important to me, but it is.
Sometimes our core values are our shadow values. And
Absolutely.
they do bring to light some of the things that we tend to want to keep hidden about ourselves, because they're things that maybe bring out parts of us that we've been told are not acceptable or that aren't okay. And I think that as we work through some of that, then it really does help you understand why you behave in certain ways. Because if you're seeing the world as an insecure place and you're looking for security, then that affects how we interact with the world around us.
Oh yeah,
big time. Right. And so it's like, how am I going to feel secure in this situation? Am I safe here? Is this relationship safe? Is this job safe? And we're very sensitive to what maybe feels unsafe or like insecure.
Yeah.
And so when we have that, even if we know that it's a shadow value, this is still a lens through which I view the world.
Absolutely.
Even if it hurts.
Yeah.
Right. And so we can heal that and we can move through that and our values can change. And so just because that's what is going on right now doesn't mean that you can't process through that to a place where you're like, no, I actually feel like security is the value, but it's maybe no longer a shadow value. Maybe it's something that's bright and beautiful.
See, I love that. And I've actually been thinking about that a lot. It's like how I think if I associate so much shame with it, it's always going to stay in a shameful place in my mind and in my body. So how would that look like security being a beautiful thing or a proud thing, like something I can be proud of? Like, how can security look beautiful?
Well, I think it depends on, first of all, the growth that's attached to it.
Yeah.
Right. So we're in this process. So now this is live, people. We're having an awareness moment.
She's coaching me right now. Okay.
Yeah. So when you become aware of something that's like, oh, okay, you don't want to see it that way forever. Like now you know that it's an option not to have shame associated with this shadow value. Right. And so maybe security is a good value for you. But right now you're in a place where the shame is bigger than the security, right? The shame of security, maybe that fear of insecurity is bigger than the appreciation or the peace or the kind of settling in that a positive value can have, which I know that you felt in your other values. It's where you kind of try it on and it just feels like a warm blanket, or it just tastes really good to say it. Like it just like it's this really, really peaceful feeling. But what happens then in these shadow value situations is that we learn to accept what that's offering to us. And so for me, I also have a shadow value.
Yeah.
And for me, it helps me with this perspective. Essentially, what happens is we transfer those from negative to positive by changing the relationship with the anti.
Okay.
And so if the value is security, then really we need to develop that relationship with insecurity first. And how is that really looking? How is insecurity then playing out in our life? How is insecurity showing up? Are we afraid to get in trouble?
Mm.
Are we afraid to make people mad at us?
Yes.
Are we afraid of not being able to control other people's emotions? So what are some of these things that are bringing up insecurity?
Yeah. I think the reason that my my other two core values feel so snuggly and warm is because it's things that I can apply to communication. And so there's words. It's more articulate. It's like, okay, I can be respectful how I communicate. I can have momentum in the way that I communicate. But security, it's like, how do I communicate with security and help people feel secure and me feel secure?
Right.
And I don't know how to do that. And I think that's why it's so hard for me to swallow.
Right.
And I want it to feel good. And I know there's beauty in it. And I do like those two examples that you gave me are totally me. I want to be able to explain enough so people don't, react in a bad way.
Right.
I want them to always be happy.
Yes.
I want to, like, giving bad news is awful to me. I'd rather beat around the bush until the bush is not existent than just cut it clean because it just feels like I'm hurting someone. And that.
So what about that feels more secure? What about beating around the bush feels more secure to you than being honest or being forthcoming?
Their reaction.
Okay.
The reaction is less volatile.
Okay.
And less sad. I hate making people feel sad or upset. And sometimes there's no helping that. There's bad news, and sometimes people have to be sad about things. And I get that. I comprehend it, or I understand it. I don't comprehend it on a way to deliver that, I guess, when it comes to applying it. It's something I've struggled with in every single one of my relationships. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do know why. It's because security.
It's because it makes you feel insecure.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem stable. Like the conversation's out of my hands now. It's like, oh, the ball's been dropped now. It's like, what? Wait,
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah. Which it brings up feelings of vulnerability, and it brings up feelings, that are attached to our issues with control and our desire to be able to control the situation. Right. And it sometimes can security in that way really mesh with respect? Like it feels like maybe they're incongruent sometimes. Like they're kind of going like this, right? Like, how can I be respectful and also say this thing that needs to be said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And so there's insecurity in how am I going to communicate that? And so you're kind of saying all these things that are exactly that playing into what the shadow value really is. And in order to do that, then we go back. We go back to do some inner child work, and we look back at little Maddie and why are you so afraid of getting in trouble?
Yeah.
And why are you so afraid of hurting people's feelings? And why do you feel like it's your responsibility to make everyone else feel secure except for you?
Yeah. Because I feel like it, like my guts turn.
Yes.
I'm feeling sick about it, of the possibility of it, of, just being the bearer of bad news or just honest news. Even being honest, it's like, I can't be fully honest because it will hurt the feelings. When it's like, I should just be honest. That's more important.
Yes.
That's more respectful to do.
Yes.
But yeah, it's definitely it's this value that's hard to swallow, and that is our current journey. One of many that we're on.
We are on this journey.
Yes.
We're definitely on this journey. So with that framework of core values, how do you find yourself responding to situations differently now than you did before?
I mean, I said earlier, I have more confidence for sure. And I feel like I have more grace and perspective for other people. Which I know might sound crazy just because I have more grace and perspective for myself, but it's really I know how to respond that is in a way that is so in alignment with me and who I am,
Mm-hmm.
that people take it so much better than opposed to what I used to say. And which would come from a very, anxious, chaotic response, reactive place, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more thoughtful with my responses, but it doesn't take as much time. Like I feel like I can respond faster. Where it's, people like, oh, I want to be thoughtful with how I respond to this and take a minute. It's like I know how to respond that's in alignment with momentum and respect and security. Security's been, difficult to incorporate, but I mean, the first two at least,
Yeah.
And so, conversations and relationships have done a 180 in my life since I found my core values and since I've been working with Brady. Like it's been magical. Like I swear she's magic. Okay. Magic. I'm serious. And my parents agree too. And they're doing coaching with her now because they're like, what did you do to Madison? She's a different person. And it's true, I am.
You are.
I feel like I'm the most real.
You're not a
authentic-
different person.
Yes.
You are. Keep going. Real, authentic.
Yes.
It's like
How-
you're for the first time you're acting and behaving and responding and really feeling this really deep connection
Yeah.
with who you are at the most authentic level.
Yes. And that has removed that anxiousness out of my relationship with my parents. Like that aspect of that being there is gone from my life and from our relationship dynamic, which is crazy. Like I just want to go back to, 2 years ago, Madison, and just be like, dude, don't worry, just talk to Brittany. This is a phase. It's gonna be over soon. Where before I did not see a light at the end of the tunnel. I really didn't. It's like they need to change or this is never gonna be good. And there's, it's not one directional. Like there's other options to fix
Yeah.
my relationship. I just didn't know it was an option.
Right. So have your parents changed?
No. Nope. They have not.
So what would you say to other people, in whatever relationship, parents with their kids? Because often what we hear in any relationship is if my kids would just do this, or how can I get my husband to behave this way, or how can I get my teenagers to change, or how can I get my boyfriend to change, or anything like that. So what would you say to people who have the mindset that you started with, that everything would be fine if everybody else would just do what I wanted them to do?
I would say talk to Brittany. I would say she'll change your life. No, I would say that actually, and I have to many people. But I think core values is a great place to start. But at the same time, going through your process and framework that you have done is just so much. It's because I'll be honest, I tried to find my core values with my dad. We were in a long car ride together, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And I had no materials. This is just what I remember from our time together.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get him to go through these core values, but I didn't have the same type of framework and way to like tear it up. And you're so good at figuring out the real authentic core values and what words are truly there and then our ideals. Because my core values that I had, I look back because they're still in my notes and I laugh at them because I'm like, they're just not even close. It's crazy of what we think that they are and the reality of what they actually are. And so I'd say that is the starting point. If you want a relationship with anyone else, you need to have a good relationship with yourself, or at least an understanding. And then it allows you to have better, I don't know, relationships with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree 100%. That's where we start every time.
Is with yourself.
Is the most foundational, yes. And in all of the work that we do, and all of the coaching that I do, and all of the podcasts and everything that we do, it's always with the intention of starting here.
Yeah.
Starting with who we are, because ultimately it's our perspective that has to change
100%.
so that we can show up better for the people that we love
Mhm.
in every aspect of our life. So I want to ask you this question. In your journey that you've taken with me and on your own over these last few years, what are you the most proud of?
Oh, that's so hard. I feel like I'm a different person. Um, I'm really proud of how far I've come with my parents and I's relationship and dynamic. Like that is life changing. I think it would be for anyone who has always had hard feelings and just a struggle with that and a desire for that, and it just doesn't get, fulfilled.
Mm.
Um, and I'm so proud of my new confidence that I have with um going into other relationships, including my parents, but just yeah, with myself and with my friends and my family and partners. It has been, I just feel like I have a new lease on life in a new way. Like it really is a lens, like my glasses. It's
Yeah.
it's like you've been blind your whole life and all of a sudden you put your contacts or glasses on. And that's I just I want to say proud, but I'm just grateful. Like I don't feel like I'm proud. I just feel grateful for you. Like I'm proud. I'm glad things are here and I'm so excited and like life is so much better and easier this way and just deeper. But I don't proud is just a weird word for me to say, but I just am grateful
Yeah.
to you. Really, truly, that you had the patience and
Yeah.
the knowledge and ability to help me and walk me through this. I'm really grateful more than I am proud.
Thank you. You should also be very proud because it's been hard.
Yeah,
It hasn't always been easy.
it's true.
There have been moments that I think that you probably want to kick me in the face.
Not once, okay? Not once. I say that because we have hard conversations where I'm just like, man, that was tough.
Mhm.
But I will say majority of them are so enlightening and so insightful.
Yeah. At least try to leave it on a good note.
Yeah. But 9 times out of 10, I'm feeling energized and
Mhm.
excited about like what I learned instead of just like weighed down by the reality of my situation, where I feel like that's how I've been in therapy or other life coaching programs I've done. I just am like, like I feel kind of still stuck.
Mhm.
Where yours, I'm just like, oh man, I'm so excited to apply this. I'm so excited to do this. Or she's so right.
Yes. We love new perspectives. We love
Yeah.
all of that. Okay. I love everything that you've shared.
Thank you.
Is there anything about your journey or about this process you want to share?
I would say being okay, like something that you eventually get to, because I really didn't like it. I remember the first time you said this to me of, oh, you're forever on a journey. And healing is not, you know, it's not an end point. It's a forever thing.
Yeah.
And that took me a long time to grasp. That was really hard. But I think becoming accepted,
Because that feels so insecure.
it does. Right? Exactly. I'm like, that's not a fix. I can't fix it then if it's never healed. So true.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, but now I've come to accept it, and I think it's easier now to say that and be comfortable with that, just because I have seen transformations. I have, felt things heal, and but in that process of getting to that point, it sucks. You're like, what's the point? And sometimes you want to give up, or sometimes you just think this is pointless. Like I still feel like crap, or this isn't changing, or they're not changing. But sticking to it, I mean, if you're consistently trying at anything, I think you eventually achieve something. And it is so worth it. It is so worth it. And don't stop trying, because it's so worth it to be consistently healing and to have and know the tools to get you there most effectively. Because journeys don't have to take that long. And
Right.
before I knew core values, I feel like it was taking so long, and I feel like I've been able to progress so much faster because of the tools and framework that you've given me. And before then, it was really difficult because I made it difficult. I didn't want to. I wasn't at that place, and take advantage of the tools that you have. Take advantage of the framework. Really try and um, and just see how it turns out for you. I guarantee, for me, it turned out amazing, and I can't imagine it not, affecting things for the better.
Yeah.
In some aspect, whether it's with yourself, with your partner, with your kids, with your parents, you know, like
Yeah.
you're still a kid to your
Yeah.
parents, like
Yeah.
you're always a kid and you're a parent. And I think it will give you perspective that you never had.
Yeah.
So keep working on it. It's worth it. It's worth it, even though it's hard and it's heavy
Yeah.
at times.
At times it is.
Yeah.
So what now is your hope for the future?
Um, my hope is that I can be a good example to my siblings, and also to just attract people that are into my life, and I'm talking friendships, relationships, that are more in alignment with me and who I am, because I have a better understanding of myself. I feel like because I have these new tools, it's easier and clearer for me to see what is in alignment and what's not. And then also just helping my sisters on this path and their journey, because they're 13 and 14. So that's a really hard age, because I remember that. And
Yeah.
just helping them with what you've helped me with.
It's sharing what you've learned
Yeah.
and being able to apply that into other relationships,
Yes.
which
Yes.
is a beautiful thing,
Hmm.
because we do want to bring others along with us, right?
Yeah.
Like anytime we move on to what we feel like is a new level,
Hmm.
we want the people that we love to be there with us.
Yeah. And experience the benefits of
Yeah.
it. I feel like I'm more of a stable person, and I'm more of just someone that can be a I don't know, just
A calming presence.
yes,
Mhm.
for them.
Mhm.
I'm hoping I can be that.
Yes. And so if you can take that and translate that into how you can show up in that space the most authentically for your family
Hmm.
and in your relationships, then that's a beautiful hope for the future,
Yeah.
that you can share what you've learned.
Because that's
Yes.
what you've been for me. And it's been so healing and so like needed. And I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Until later. In like years. You're like, oh my gosh, I needed that. So yeah, that's my hope for the future.
I love it. I love
But
it.
yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I appreciate
I
you
feel
sharing
so
and being so open and vulnerable with the people that are listening. I think it's important to hear these stories, so we can see what this work looks like in real life with real people that are on this journey. All of our experiences are so different, and we bring to the table such a vast array, just a different way of looking at things. And it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, this work changes lives. It does every day, and you're a perfect example of that. So I appreciate you sharing your story with us today.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's been so fun. I'm so grateful that you guys are here with us, and I hope you'll join us again next week as we continue to explore the art and science of parenting and put your parenting to the test. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Parenting Lab podcast. For our complete catalog of online courses, free resources, or to join our mailing list, please visit theparentinglab.org. See you next time.